What inspired you to get into podcasting?
Yeah, so I've been a fan of podcasting as a listener. I don't remember exactly when, but ever since I got my first iPod, I just stumbled upon this thing that was called a podcast, and to me, it was just like radio that was on my schedule, which I loved. I loved the ability to pick up and play at my leisure and skip ahead, or just have access to all this amazing and unique content. So always had been a fan and believer in the medium. And my background is in accounting. I was working at an accounting firm for most of my 20s, but started in that experience to get exposed to other business leaders, executives, board members, founders, and then just started to get that like entrepreneurial itch. I wanted to do something a little bit more independent and just give it a shot. And my friend that I've known since high school, Zach, who is also a software developer, approached me with an idea that became Squadcast.
What about like the features in Squadcast? What are some of the things you are proud of that have helped people with, like you said, taking it from the old days of Skype and in-house studios to remote?
Thank you. Yeah. So I think one of the things that really stands out with Squadcast is our focus on serving creators and providing software and features and benefits within that software that cater to that type of experience. So really a focus on quality, making it really easy for people to join no matter where they are, what their setup is. I mean, you do need certain devices, and it is a browser-based software, so you do need Chrome up to a certain version and stuff like that, but it's designed to be very flexible and accessible to all sorts of different environments and setups, and still ensure that the recording quality is still at the best that it can be. And that's really where Squadcast shines, is ensuring that you get the highest sound quality possible, and it's done in a secure manner. We actually have a patented process around our recording and uploading engine to make it wicked fast, but also very secure and reliable. So you're not really having to worry about the technical side of things. That was really the problem that we viewed it when first stumbling upon this problem. Was Skype's a great tool, and so is Zoom for video chat, but like the recording aspect and the quality of it, there was a lot of uncertainty and just lack of reliability. And so we just felt like developing software that really facilitated that use case and kind of focused on addressing those type of pain points was going to be something really special.
How is Squadcast different?
So Riverside, I would say we consider them among one of our direct competitors. Our largest competitor when it comes to folks that are recording content remotely, Zoom still seems to be the primary use case for folks, which makes a lot of sense. It's a household name. It's a verb. It's the Kleenex of doing stuff remotely. So they've done a really good job of that. But Riverside has done a good job of building up their name and reputation within the podcast industry and creator space. And so I think the industry, the market, they're winning here because you've got multiple folks really trying to tackle these difficult problems. And we do have empathy for all the folks that are trying to solve this remote recording
And
problem.
what about mistakes you see commonly being made with technology for podcasters, or even if they're already using Squadcast, or what are technology things that trip people up?
There's a few. Not knowing how to use your technology is one thing. I mean, I'm a big fan of keeping it relatively simple. A lot of times when we get folks that are having technical issues on Squadcast, it's not often related to the software. And I'm not just saying that because I don't like, Squadcast is perfect. I'm not saying that. I mean, it's pretty darn good when you're operating at the scale we are. I'm not going to lie. It's mind blowing. But a lot of times we'll see folks that have these like really complicated setups where they got multiple things going on, multiple wires, and it's all good if you can make it work, but like you don't really need that. And especially when you're starting, you really don't need that. Of course, it's great to have some type of investment into your setup. So having a microphone, headphones, a solid computer, there's a few other things that you can have, but you don't need the full blown setup, especially right out the gate. But you really don't need it ever, in my opinion, for a podcast.
So, and what about some tips we talked a little about hosting platforms, but any quick thoughts on why? Like when I go to your, I forget which page it is. You have like your podcast show page, and there's just icons for everything from Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, all. You're on a whole bunch of different places. What about hosting and getting yourself out there? What are some quick thoughts on that?
So podcast hosting is one of the categories that, fortunately for podcasters, there's a lot of options. There's a lot of solid brands and products available. I would recommend just sticking with the big top names that you're going to hear, because there are quite a bit of hosting platforms, and you can even get it for free. But I would say the ones that are really worth it, you're going to pay something. It's not too much money from what I remember, especially if you're first starting off. Typically, they base their pricing off of downloads. So Captivate is a great platform. You mentioned Libsyn. That's one of the yeah, Captivate's great. They're a little more of the innovative platforms. They're them and Transistor, but then you got solid names like Blueberry and Libsyn, who have a great reputation and solid foundation in the space. But I would say if you're looking for a little bit something more new, but still solid and something you can trust, Captivate and Transistor are two great options. And Buzzsprout's another one. I think Buzzsprout is like the number two overall option. Number one is Anchor, which is a Spotify product, and it's free. So if that's a great place to get started. But if you're looking to level up, Buzzsprout's number two, along with those other ones I mentioned, Captivate, Transistor, and then of course Libsyn.
And what about other tools, just in general for podcasting overall?
Yeah, well, besides Squadcast, so assuming if you do record remotely, you're using Squadcast, I think I mentioned Descript. I love that tool. It's something that I use not just for, I don't edit the podcast, but if I was editing, that's a tool that I would use. But I also use it for like business cases. Like when I do screen recordings, I'll edit it in Descript so that it eliminates some of the ums and ahs, or maybe it just makes a more tightened kind of presentation to folks. So it may take me 40 minutes to record it, and I tighten it down to like 15, 20, 30, but making it just a more polished product. It's just incredible what it can do. And